Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day to start things off. Bitcoin is one of the best designed products of modern times. This is according to multinational business magazine Fortune. Fortune teamed up with the Institute of Design at the Illinois Institute of Technology to create the survey, a replica of the one that was made in 1959. As a result, numerous educators, influencers, freelance designers, and corporate design teams place Bitcoin in the same weight group as Apple's iPhone, Macintosh, and Google search engine, although not quite as highly. They ranked Bitcoin 90th. They said Bitcoin wasn't invented. It was designed so that a wide range of stakeholders, developers, investors, businesses, miners, individuals, all had incentives that reinforce adoption of a new digital currency without any central issuing or governing authority. This was said by David Kelly, the founder of global design company IDEO. He noted that just after 10 years after its release, Bitcoin's market cap is nearing 200 billion. Most likely this was done before the price drops that we just saw and is used by millions of people around the world. That I don't think any product in the history of the world has bootstrapped quite so effectively. It has not been that long and Bitcoin has done extremely well. Here's the actual list right here. For those of you who were wondering, I'll actually scroll down so you can see some of the, let me know if you agree. I was kind of shocked at what number one was, but I think it does make a lot of sense as it has changed the way we pretty much do everything. Where is it? There we go. Number one is iPhone, designed in 2007. Number two is the Macintosh, 1984. Number three is Google. I mean, we kind of do use Google for almost everything. Number four is a fiberglass armchair. Okay. Number five is a Walkman. Number six is a gripped peeler. You are a peeler of carrots, then this is definitely for you. Number seven is Uber. I feel like there's definitely been a lot more things that have been more significant than Uber, but alas. Number eight is Netflix. These are the 100 best design. Number eight is Netflix. Number nine is Lego. Okay, now they just and number 10 is the iPod without having to even go any further. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Bitcoin, while not as old as Legos, is definitely more significant and probably more well-designed than Legos. Like, don't get me wrong, I used to play with Legos, but I feel like an international monetary system that allows 7.4 billion people to use it at will whenever they want, that's been going strong for 11 years without any major hiccups, is probably a lot better than plastic that sticks together. Anyway, that's the list. It's interesting to see that years ago, Bitcoin was on no list. No one listed it. It was never anywhere, and it was never mentioned in any type of tech thing. And now we have a lot of, it's not Fortune, I think it's Bloomberg. Whenever they do like a rich listing of the richest people in the world, they're usually a sprinkle of cryptocurrency billionaires and stuff like that on there, and I assume that will only continue as time ends up going on. Anyway, that's the Bitcoin made the list of the 100 great designs of all time. I definitely feel like Bitcoin should be above Lego. Maybe it's just me. Maybe is there someone out there who thinks that Lego is you can't pay in Legos. Like if I take a box of Legos and try to buy a car. Anyway, yeah, that's the ranking Fortune news for today. Next up, week to date, Bitcoin is up double digits after a cataclysmic, wow, and depressing fall, big word. Bitcoin's price is up 68% in the last trading week and looking likely to breach $7,000 again amid high trading volumes. However, with the negative impact of stuff that's been happening in the world and the overall resistance of the quantitative easing that many countries around the world have been trying to do, Bitcoin can also add to their gains if the number of unemployed claims from Ohio is leading. These reports reveal the number of claims in the last week reached 160,000 people, an anomaly, as workers are encouraged to work from home to, you've watched the news. Some have even lost their jobs. According to Anthony Pompliano, who's always in the crypto news, the co-founder and partner at Morgan Creek Digital, the situation could get really bad very quickly and is instead asking the community to act with kindness. He said Ohio's unemployment claims are almost 140,000 from last Sunday till yesterday. 140,000 in 5 days from one state. This could get very bad very quickly. What do we have without having to go much further, because I think this article is also littered with the C word. I hate having to call it that because it makes me think of. The point is, this is going to be a continuing trend. It is expected that what is currently happening is going to last for months and not for weeks, until things get A-okay again. And as such, many people around the world are not able to go to work. And when you can't go to work, you can't make money. When you can't make money, you can't pay your bills. And when you can't pay your bills, things get bad. So, on top of the already bad economic everything that we've been experiencing, it is believed that what we are seeing now, what could potentially unfold, as always, no one knows the future. If things continue, we could see a sharp uptick in the amount of people who lose their jobs, who cannot work from home, who are simply whatever the actual situation might be. And as such, I've seen a number of articles and have been saying that the $1,000 that has been proposed by the US government to be sprinkled upon its citizens is not enough. I don't know if any of you have been to the States, have looked up rental prices in many places around the country. New York, Florida, California, even some parts of Texas and other parts of major cities, they're not inexpensive. There are certain places in New York for a 3-bedroom, it's around $5,000 per month. I know that's in Manhattan, but still it's ludicrous. So imagine even your rent being $1,700 and someone gives you, here's $1,000, buddy. You're like, I'm 5 months behind on my rent. Not that the $1,000 wouldn't be appreciated. I'm sure many people would. Is that more will have to be done? Didn't mean to give you like a sad news story, but it's more like we are seeing this unfold right before our very eyes. We have to remain realistic about it. I've told news like this to other people. They've took their fingers and shoved it into their ears as if like they won't be affected by it. I understand sometimes it may be a bit stressful, but if you work on it now, you won't have to work on it later. Rather deal with it. I mean, it's just the reality. I'm going to stop talking now. Anyway, that's the unemployment crisis. This is also going to continue even more. One of my major things that I was thinking about a couple of days ago, as more people aren't able to go to work, this year we're actually expected to see a huge rollout of Tesla and Uber's self-driving cars and self-driving trucks. So imagine all the truck drivers on top of that who might lose their jobs, all the cab, taxi drivers, chauffeurs. When the next couple of years will also lose their. It's a weird time. It's a. Let's move on. Next up, citing low liquidity, Bitfinex has announced that it will soon delist over 87 trading pairs. This move reflects the increasing competition within the altcoin space. It could prompt considerably more market volatility. Some of the platforms will be completely dropped from the exchange, whereas others will only lose their Ethereum pairing. A few will see pairing reorganization. Coins on the chopping block include, they are Bancor, Raiden Network, Zilliqa, and Verge will also have 2 major fiat trading pairs stripped. They would be the pound sterling and the euro. That is not a good indication. When you get fiat pairings stripped, that means no one is buying that coin. That is not a good indication. Bitfinex is known for having a huge selection of trading pairs, which has played a key role in its success. Nevertheless, volume has dropped substantially over the past 2 years. The exchange is now far from the most popular among traders. In this situation, removing the underperforming coins makes a sense. They said the removal of these trading pairs will serve to consolidate and improve liquidity on Bitfinex, leading to a more streamlined and optimized trading experience for users. I will say, remember these words. If you are into crypto for the long term, try to make sure that your money is in the strongest coins out there. I remember, and I'll show you the list in a second. I remember a lot of people over the years telling me that I should be talking about certain coins, and I said, no, these coins aren't going to go anywhere. And people left the channel, people gave me thumbs down, people left me sad faces in the comment section. I say what I say not because I tried to be pompous, I say it because it is logical. If we are constantly getting news that Bitcoin is being added to this, that Ethereum is being used for this, or that this, so this is why I aim for these coins. Here's the actual list right here. Oh my gosh, this list is huge. I'm going to try and read through some of it quickly for the more well-known ones. It says the following tokens to be both and Ethereum delisted. Bancor Singularity Request WePower. What? Singularity DTV. Is that a station? Raiden Polymath Quash? As QAS Cash. Oh, even worse. Spank Chain Wax. Zero Chain and Aventus. The following tokens for Ethereum: Dragon Chain Monolith, Hydro Protocol, Wow, Pound Network, Walton Chain, Medical Chain, Ether Kingdoms Token, AirSwap Edge, Kyber Network, Gnosis, Decentraland, Quantum Upfiring. The point being, it is, I believe, in my experience in this market, it is imperative to just go with the blue chip stocks. Go with the big ones, go with the big boys, because you will, there's no chance. I'm going to say with, I'm going to say with almost 100% certainty, there's probably not a chance of Bitcoin, #1 coin, being delisted from any exchange this year. Just gonna say that. So whenever we keep getting news about these delistings, it was very cute before when all the cryptocurrency exchanges kept on adding all these different coins to their platform, and I was like, we don't need these coins. We don't need thousands of cryptocurrencies. It's because there's no use for them right now. It's fine just having 100 or 200, and as the space develops, as other companies so-and-so, if maybe one day you and your friends decide to make up something fantastic and you make a new coin and it has a purpose, that's great. But all these other coins, a lot of them have no use. If you look through their white papers, if you read through their websites, they're usually just copies of everything else, and they just have these really interesting names. These coins, a lot of these coins, I'm going to guesstimate and say around 95% of the coins you see on this page will not be around within the next 10 years. I'm going to give it a good 5 years. They will be in the same exact category as coins that I saw in 2012, 2013, 2014 that no one was touching, no one was using. Anyway, that's the delisting news on Bitfinex. And also remember, these coins will also take a hit on other exchanges because the liquidity and the 24-hour volume will also go down as well. And the more it goes down, the harder it gets to trade. The harder it gets to trade, the more no one trades it. So I know a lot of you have listened, but I still see those people talking about Bajoop coin and all this other stuff that nobody should be playing with. Try to pay attention and just focus on the things. If you constantly hear rich people saying the word Bitcoin, follow the money trail. Yeah. Next up In what news? Square is launching a bank in 2021. I totally didn't see that coming. That was crazy. On Wednesday, the U.S. Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation Board, or the FDIC, gave the payment startup conditional approval for a bank charter to launch Square Financial Services, an industrial loan company headquartered in Salt Lake City, Utah. The bank also received approval from the Utah Department of Financial Institutions for the charter. The bank's primary business will be deposit products and small business loans for its commercial lending business. It also plans to continue its business of selling loans to third-party investors, and Square doesn't expect the bank to have a material impact on Square's consolidation business sheet in 2020. Square is led by Bitcoin advocate and Silicon Valley mogul Jack Dorsey. Profits related to Bitcoin made up half of Square's Cash App revenue in the fourth quarter of 2019, and the company is active in the crypto venture capital space, most recently funding Transparent Financial Systems, a startup developing a real-time cryptographic settlement network. The bank has no plans to offer any features relating to cryptocurrency, a Square spokesperson said. I don't know these people, but I assume they are, first of all, Jack Dorsey is obsessed with Bitcoin. He's mentioned it many times before. Jack Dorsey believes in the next 10 years that Bitcoin will be the only currency on this planet. Oh, hit my hand. I'll just give it to you that way. The point being, we are now seeing an increasingly large number of social media platforms who are becoming banks. Facebook is basically trying to become a bank. Square got their charter before them. What's the other one? Can't remember the names. Everyone's getting banking charters. Remember I mentioned in 2018, I was like, we're seeing what's all this stuff, everyone applying for a banking charter. If you didn't know, now you know. These are going to be the new banks. These are going to be the banks of the future. The old ways are crumbling right before our eyes, boys and girls. And what we're seeing is a very crypto-centric banking thing launching. I will assume that by the end of this year, we should have a press conference from the people from Square talking about doing something with cryptocurrencies through their bank, whether that be buying, holding, selling, trading. It could be a multitude of things, but I assure you, as Square has made half of their money from Bitcoin alone last year, one can only assume that they're probably like, maybe we should continue with it. So this will be, I give it 3 years. 3 years time frame. Bookface is supposed to be launching Libra this summer, so saith the internet. Square's launching a bank in 2021. I'm going to assume the other one. I don't think that, well, no, I guess Instagram falls under it as well because Instagram is Facebook, so is WhatsApp. Point being, Square is becoming a bank. I think we should have all seen this coming. And I think the most interesting part is that these will probably be, first of all, I assume they'll be more streamlined, they'll be more popular, and also they'll probably have really good like interest rates compared to actual normal banks. Anyway, that's the Square Bitcoin merchant lending. I come on. Can you imagine making half of your money from something and the next year you're like, I don't want to touch it again. It's fine. I didn't like making money last year. It was a bit too stressful. Anywhere. Here's the actual SquareUp.com press release. It says Square receives conditional FDIC approval for institutional loan charter application for deposit insurance. Sure. Let's move on. In something that should also, I mean, first of all, it's actually kind of gross, but this should surprise no one. It says most financial markets are taking a beating due to stuff that's happening. In Spain and Italy, short selling of stocks is now officially prohibited by law. This measure is taken to reduce the chances of inciting market panic. For the past week or two, all stock markets have come under a lot of pressure. It is expected that this slump will continue for weeks, if not months to come. One way of making money during such a time is by short selling. That is now no longer possible in Italy and Spain because of the news. Whether this will be sufficient to artificially prop up the domestic stock markets remains to be determined. When you short something, you bet against it. Remember, we saw before and have seen many times when people short Bitcoin, or when the futures market is shorting Bitcoin, Bitcoin's prices fall because the market indicates that Bitcoin is going to do negatively. So when you short stocks, especially when something major is happening in the news and everyone has a negative attitude and they go, well, I think it's going to continue, people start short selling. If they're short selling, I want to short sell. So when they short sell and they make their money from it, I also want to be short afterwards as well. This is how you make money. You make money on negative times. It's called short selling, is when you bet against something. They have made it against the law to be able to bet against their stocks. Isn't that weird? Isn't that odd? Isn't that fascinating that you can simply say, well, you know, normally it's okay to bet against it, but now no. Only good energy, good vibes, sending good vibes through the stock market. It's very weird. A lot of this is very hypocritical because whatever. You get it. You understand the gist of where I'm going. When you push, it's so odd. You ban short selling, you push tons of money into the market, it doesn't do anything, you lower interest rates, and none of it works. That's so weird, right? It's almost as if the current financial system is just garbage and it needs to be replaced. So weird. If only we had something. Well, let's hope one day soon that we have an answer, because, you know, something wasn't invented 11 years ago that gives us the answer. They banned short selling. How nonsensical is that? Here's the actual article from business.financialpost.com. The Spain and Italy banned short selling amid the news. Let's move on. And to finish things off, Tao Tsang, Deputy Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, has made a strong argument for the development of a central bank digital currency. Wow. He asserts that as a new asset class, they hold tremendous promise, notably for the developing world. I'm going to stop him right there. Do you remember the IMF and the ABC and JP Morgan and all these other people talking negatively, not only about cryptocurrencies, but about the digitization of a currency? About a good 4 or 5 months ago, how it was dangerous. This is quite perilous. We simply can't have something like this. And to even say as something that is an asset class is also I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of very rich people are into cryptocurrencies right now. A lot of rich people who actually control world markets, who are senators, who make money laws, they're all deeply into cryptocurrencies. If you don't see where this is all going, I think I've made like 1,300, 1,400 videos over the last couple of years. They are there for the taking. Please, by all means, go look at them. It is a fascinating time frame to see how all of this has blossomed. We've gone from no one talking about us, people making fun of us, talking about how Bitcoin is only used by criminals. Bitcoin is this. Bitcoin's kind of cool. Blockchain, not Bitcoin. I will never hold Bitcoin. You'll get fired if you hold Bitcoin. We hold Bitcoin, and over the last 4 years when we told you we would fire people, we were all buying Bitcoin. Especially the entire narrative now. The annoying thing is that it's never just I wish people just told the truth. I think we'd be a lot more better off if everyone was just very honest. It comes down to, it's always, we need to do this to protect people. We need to do this to so-and-so. We're lowering this for blah, 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 blah. And also the promise that it holds for the developing world. I'm going to go out on a limb and say most people who control monetary policies, this is my opinion, don't usually care for people in the developing world because the developing world would have been developed. We've known about the developing world for about even before I was born. I've watched old news articles, stories, like this is all on YouTube. You can find old news things. about the developing world in the 70s and 80s? No one cared because they weren't making money from it. You don't care about poor people because poor people don't get you money. Poor people don't have enough money to put into the bank or to pay you $4.99 per month to have their money in the bank. Why would you care about them? Kind of odd that now that everything can be digital and smartphones are easily accessible, and people in other parts of the world have figured out, especially in Africa, how to use their mobile phones for payments without being actually part of the normal monetary system that we have right now, that you suddenly find interest and go, oh, this holds great promise for all of them so that they can fall in line with what you want to create. Tsang discussed central bank digital currencies in an address given at a conference hosted by the London School of Economics. He pointed to numerous advantages that these currencies can bring to the financial space, particularly by enabling rapid, seamless transfers and providing financial services for the unbanked. It's nice that you care now. Notably, however, was his recognition that a revolution is underway across the global economy. And that central banks must improve in order to avoid being rendered obsolete. Specifically, he asserts that central bank digital currencies have the potential to stem the growing popularity of stablecoins. To stem the growing popularity of stablecoins, which he stated may be difficult to regulate and could pose risks to financial stability and monetary policy transmission. I myself am not a stablecoin fan. I don't particularly advocate for them, but I do understand their purpose in the means of cryptocurrency trading, or even if you're just trying to have something a bit more stable, if you're trying to send money around the world to one of your friends who wants something in a yen or in a something else, you send it to them in that stablecoin. I get it. This has nothing to do with wanting to make things easier for people in the developing world, or for helping people who are unbanked. You may have noticed, remember a couple of months ago with Telegram and Kick. Remember, they were bulldozed by the SEC. Do you remember why? And I mentioned this in the video, and and I was like 3 people, go away, were telling me that I was wrong, that I was so-and-so, I had no idea what was going on. It comes down to the fact that these are very popular platforms. Between Kick and Telegram, they're very, very popular platforms. They both planned on launching their own cryptocurrencies. They were going to be hundreds of billions of these coins. That doesn't even completely matter. What matters is that through all of this, if you were sending your friend a text, if you were sending your friend a message, if you made a new web friend somewhere in Tokyo, you could send them money whenever you wanted. At any point, if you were doing something and you had some kin or some I don't know what that coin was called, on your phone, you could send it around the world. When Facebook announced that they were going to be doing the exact same thing, and this new coin, as much as I do not advocate for Libra, would also be on Facebook. It would be on Messenger. It would be on Instagram, and it would be on WhatsApp. That poses a very big danger, because what happens is a lot of these platforms, a lot of these things are also encrypted end to end. If I'm sending stuff back and forth, no one can tell how much I'm sending or what I'm sending. So the advent and the growing popularity of stablecoins, this is also why you may have noticed, this is just this for me is an assumption, but it's a logical assumption. Why we've seen Tether placing themselves on multiple blockchains at the exact same time. I think Tether has Tether's spread across, I think, at least 5 or 6 different blockchains right now. I assume it's because they have probably they've already come under fire multiple times. But I think it's more of a protection thing. If you knock out this one, you have to knock out that one. If you knock out this one, and we still have 4 other blockchains. The advent of social media coins is going to be a very big thing. I think a lot of it has been stemmed at the moment, but you can't really hold things like this back. And this is why I even think the other day when we had news that, Fortnite and some other thing had created their own coins, but apparently they also had to go through the SEC to show them that they weren't really coins. It's because this is going to pick up very fast. It's not that people want to do nefarious things. It's not that people are planning on being bad people. It's just that people want the ease of sending stuff whenever they can back and forth. This is why a lot of these cash apps and these cash money things and send me the money, all these other things have become very popular, why cryptocurrencies have become very popular. And I think they finally come to the conclusion, especially if people start making stable coins that are collateralized by decentralized platforms, and these stablecoins are also on decentralized financial platforms, a lot more difficult to stop them. With the growing popularity of social media platforms and platforms in general and people creating their own coins growing, I assume it's going to continue growing. As much as I don't care for the idea of having tens of thousands of millions of coins, it's going to happen. The growing popularity of all these things comes down to we don't want it to happen because they realize that around, 4 years ago, they should have started developing their own stablecoins. If governments had come out 4 or 5 years ago with their own stablecoins, we would have no conversations about this at all. He says it. They may be difficult to regulate. They will be the same exact way that this is why you should be highly focused on decentralized coins. Not coins that say that they are going to be decentralized and have not become decentralized over the course 4 or 5 years. There are some, they have moved there. Like Ethereum's one of them. Ethereum was more centralized than it was before. They've moved on, and now we have a very decentralized network. It may not be the most decentralized. The point is they're working towards it. Put your focus on things that are on the cusp of becoming decentralized or already decentralized, because we are going to enter a world very quick where they're going to try and stem the flow of coins and currencies under the idea that, we need to make sure that the financial system is okay. But the